Very good. Okay, very good.
Good morning and welcome to another episode of Hard Factor presented by the Barstool News Network. It is episode number 587, Monday, December 21st, 2020. That's right. It's the winter solstice edition. Mark is off today. We got Wes and Pat in the studio. How you fellas doing today? Good. Happy Monday for you?
Yeah. This whole year's been the winter solstice, it feels like.
Well,
Yeah,
no, that's not true, Wes. That's not true because the winter solstice is the shortest day of the year. This whole year has been like the summer, like a shitty summer solstice.
Yeah, but is it the darkest day of the year?
Well, I mean, you can't really say a day is dark.
It's
I
the
guess
dark, right? The
The least amount of sunlight?
least amount of sunlight. Wait,
There we go.
So Pat, why are you saying that it's like the summer solstice year?
because it's been a long fucking year.
Oh,
Yeah,
like
I
it's
get what
just
Pat's saying, but
the
I
day
think I found a
lasts
loophole.
longer. It's a combination of both solstices in
Yes.
the worst way
Well,
possible.
Solstice, if it's the two.
Solstice. Yes, thank you for the correction. Sports page up first today, real quick before we hop into stories. LSU beat Ole Miss after they did a fire extinguisher celebration on the sidelines. That was a great way to end the season. Another team that we all pull for, Leeds, they got crushed by Manchester United on Sunday morning. I'm not sure if you guys caught that, but they got
No, I knew that was going to happen.
they got just destroyed 6-2. And then Notre Dame somehow got into the college football playoffs. You guys,
And Washington Football Club lost a barn burner at the end there to the Hawks.
Yeah. A little inside baseball. We're recording this during the late games on the NFL slate, and looking like the Cowboys may jump the Eagles for third place in the NFC Beast, making the Eagles in the basement. So maybe that's why Mark's off today, because he's worried about that happening. You don't want to get beat by the Cowboys. So I don't know. Little news note that's not related to our stories. Dr. Deborah Birx, another public figure who urged people not to travel for Thanksgiving, but did it herself with her family anyways. So, yeah, you guys got anything else at the top before we hop into stories?
I mean, I'm not traveling for Christmas, finally. I mean, it's...
So you're finally heeding the warnings for Christmas?
Well, hold on. I was really fucking responsible with my travel thus far, and shit got bad. Hey, I did not contract COVID, and I did not
That's
spread
good.
it. I didn't contract it or spread it, and I
It's-
tested my ass off.
It's good. It's good. You traveled responsibly, kept the airlines humming. Yeah.
Beat the odds.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, at a certain point, when the ICUs are full, you can't do it. You can't do it. So,
Yeah, getting a little rough, but let's talk about why Congress needs to help us out. So that takes us into our first section today called Come On, Congress. And it's going to start with, of course, the stimulus checks. Are we getting those stimulus checks, boys? Looking like a yes.
who cares?
Yeah, well, we're getting them. So that's good. Unless you didn't get the first round, then you're probably ineligible for this round as well. But hopefully you got those, and you're going to get this next round too. Like I said, a yes, looking like the final votes may have come late Sunday night after we recorded, or they're going to happen early this morning in all likelihood before it passes both the House and the Senate. At the time of recording, the final legislation wasn't quite released on paper, but the $600 stimulus checks for qualifying Americans is what's on the table, half of the original stimulus. A federal unemployment insurance bonus of $300 a week, so that's extending that, and more money for businesses struggling to pay rent and also their workers, and then additional vaccine distribution funds are definitely included in the bill. Hopefully, other additional protections for small businesses and their financials, and then some family protections as well are also included. Come on, Congress, pass the fucking bill. I don't know why it's taken so long. The last one was like May, right? So,
yeah.
I mean, they blew it. It's just a total blown bullshit. And dude, fuck Ted Cruz. Fuck that piece of shit. Specifically, fuck Ted Cruz, because it's like he had to come out and be non-productive about people abusing the what's the word I'm looking for? The unemployment system, instead of fucking getting his ass in there and moving the ball forward. Like it's just a clusterfuck of ass. Well, I think just Ted Cruz is a special level of ass in my personal.
The Zodiac Killer himself. Yeah, I mean, nobody was really playing fair on this one. Everybody kind of pushed back this bill for months and months at the expense of the people, whether it was also the other side having just a package that was way too large to ever get agreed to by the Republicans. So just being too far apart for months, and then, you know, your specific players. like your Zodiac Killer and whatnot, just led to Congress fucking it up, like you said, Pat. So hopefully that does pass this morning at the latest, and we'll get those stimulus checks second round going months and months late. Meanwhile, it's also been 2 weeks since the MORE Act passed in the House. That's decriminalizing marijuana, and 3 months and counting for the Uyghur forced labor bill. Come on, Senate, at least work on those, even if the lobbyists are begging you not to. Those could be pretty good to at least just take a look at. And finally, in the Come On Congress corner today, the likely Russian-based hack of SolarWinds. So that's the company that was hacked by everybody saying it's Russia, or the intelligence community saying it's Russia. It's their Orion products, which are like, I guess, like sort of hosting products, back-end software things. It could have technically impacted up to 18,000 customers. And so far, over
what does that mean? So, like customers of Orion products, people that
like people who host their shit on
Okay.
Orion, right? Yeah. Or like, I don't know if host is the correct word, but it's like, yeah, it's like
large
a back-end,
companies, probably.
right? Yeah, big companies, mostly government agencies, I think. And over 200 of those 18,000 government agencies and companies have been confirmed by a third-party group who's investigating this as definite targets of the hack so far. That number is expected to grow.
You know what's weird and interesting about this? I heard a really interesting take, which is like essentially every country does espionage, right? Like it's widely just accepted, and it's not an act of war to have spies, right? So like that's essentially like the threshold that you can get to when messing with another country before it becoming an act of war. And this hack is like under the espionage level. That's like the idea. But these hacks can do
very
so much,
widespread, though. Yeah,
they can do so much more damage than just like regular spying, because they can literally just like shut down power grids or like make your fridge stop producing ice. Like,
yeah, they could give you an upper hand in war.
Yeah, and hopefully it couldn't get that deep into your infrastructure. Maybe it could, Pat. I don't know how.
Oh,
how
it can shut down your ice
malicious-
maker, bro.
But I don't know how malicious the actual code was. I mean, there's going to be lots of reports coming out on this thing for months now.
Well,
as they continue to investigate. But
do you remember what we did to the Iranian nuclear program?
No,
we dropped a virus.
Internet?
We dropped a virus into their nuclear program, and it just kept like not working, and they were like they couldn't figure it out, but it was because we were fucking with them.
This is similar, except it just gave whoever the hackers were now, again, the intelligence community saying Russia based, but the hackers it allowed them some type of control over those Orion products in some way. But I don't think it prevented them from working. It was just gathering data, maybe. I'm not sure. The details will keep coming out. But like I was saying, at least 200 confirmed government agencies and companies have been targets for sure. Trump is trying to claim that it could have been China. Like I said, the intelligence community disagrees with that. But come on, Congress, maybe nut up and do something to protect us from the obvious spying going on from both Russia and China in the U.S.
Viruses in real life. The sentiment viruses virtually.
Yeah, that he is. But I mean, both countries are serious problems for the U.S. In terms of our defense and homeland security. So stop pretending that only one or the other is a problem, you partisan hacks in Congress, and come on, Congress, and fucking do something about both of them.
Yeah, I got an idea. I think that going back to the MORE Act, if every state were to legalize, marijuana and then set aside some of those taxes as a stimulus plan, it would take care of itself. No
well,
problem.
I mean,
Colorado had $1.75 billion last year in marijuana sales.
But Wes, that just helps the states themselves, the state governments themselves.
I know, but I'm saying set aside
each
state some of those taxes to give as a stimulus plan to the state's citizens.
Well,
or
the states, I think,
education.
the states will just be able to better fund their programs even during rough.
I'm saying cash.
Times.
I'm saying the check.
Yeah, I think there may be some type of federal tax included in the MORE Act. I don't recall, but yeah, I mean, one happens at the state, one happens at the federal level.
Look into it.
Wants the cash.
Look into it.
He wants the cash. But on the for real tip, the education needs to happen. Like we're talking about China and Russia. We're talking about those two countries fucking with us. The only way we're going to be able to fuck with them right back is if we got the smartest hackers and programmers on our squad, which we don't. We need to reinvest in education.
Yeah.
Do it through marijuana.
Well, yeah, I mean, do something, Congress, because you're doing fucking nothing so far. So
our kids won't go to school for 16 hours a day is the problem.
Yeah, well, maybe we bring in a little bit of communism.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's the
Comrade Pat. By the way, the Comrade Pat meme from Hard Factor Memes was fantastic. Now I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about a Chairman Pat next, though. That's
in Russia.
nice
Podcast you. All right, guys. It's Christmas week, and a lot of us are going to be going home to see our families, and a lot of us are not able to do that because of COVID. So I'm going to hit 2 feel-good dad stories because I think that's what we need this week. We need some feel-good stories. So get your Kleenex out. The first, on December 6th, Matt Goodman of Taunton, Massachusetts, turned 21. And he very much wished that his dad could have been there to help him celebrate. But unfortunately, his pop passed away 6 years earlier from esophageal cancer. But little did Matt know that before his dad, John Goodman, cool name, passed, he entrusted his Matt's older sister with a $10 bill to keep safe until Matt reached the legal drinking age so that he could, in fact, be the one to buy his son's first beer.
Oh.
So, Matt's sister and mom kept this a secret from Matt, surprising him on his birthday. And when he went to the bar, he used the $10 bill that his dad left behind so he could buy his son his first beer. And after finishing his first legal libation, Matt tweeted this. Almost 6 years ago, before my dad passed away, he gave my sister this $10 bill to give to me on my 21st birthday so he could buy my first beer. Cheers, Pops. Having this one for you. And
That's awesome. That's
I just thought that was really sweet.
I wonder how many illegal beers he had before his first legal one. I know for me it was a high number.
A lot.
But also so on brand for a dude named John Goodman to leave $10 for his son's first beer. That's awesome.
And that's it. Now Matt's having to take out a lot of massive student loans for college.
King Ralph himself. he knew it was important.
Just crying in the bar having his first beer.
Yep. Now, guys, desperate to make it about them, Budweiser sent Matt and his sisters 8 cases of beer. To which Matt tweeted, "Thanks, Budweiser USA. I got my next few beers taken care of." Why don't you let
8
that
cases?
Just let that be. Like, what about a fucking college scholarship, Budweiser? His dad's dead.
Yeah, that would have been more appropriate.
8 cases.
Wouldn't like one case with a scholarship note, or like $5,000 been a lot better.
Here's what $150 for you.
Yeah. How do we get in on this feel good story of the year and make it about Budweiser?
This is the greatest marketing ratio of all time.
They're gonna definitely have to do something extra for that kid.
The margins on this one are great.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
There's no way those 8 cases are gonna cut it. You guys are right. After a lot of people are gonna have the same.
We should make it our mission to get him a scholarship. You're right, Pat. All right, to a not so good story. It's been a minute, so let's take it over across the pond to Europe, specifically our friends in the UK, with some very scary news. It seems the coronavirus is mutating, and they have discovered what they're calling a new variant over there. Discovered it over the weekend, apparently.
Not good.
Not good.
So it's different. It's not COVID.
No, it's different. It's the coronavirus on meth. But I'll get to it. It's not as scary as I'm making out to be, but it is pretty fucking scary. So it's mainly in London and Southeast England, where this new it's spreading like wildfire. And the variant is 70% more transmissible than the original recipe coronavirus.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, huh? So in order to combat the new variant, Boris Johnson is treating people who live in those areas like lepers, putting new curfews and stay-at-home orders, not allowing them to travel or anyone to visit them. They're like closing down all travel. Also, countries across Europe are rushing to imprison the British on their state like a bunch of convicts, banning travel to their countries from the UK, attempting to turn around already inbound travel from the UK. So it's a shit show.
Hey, at least he told everybody. He could have pulled the China and just like not said a thing,
Yeah. And he's getting a lot of shit for it because he promised them like this, liberated Christmas time and less stringent lockdowns.
And they're mad about that. They're mad because he controls it.
Dude, they're mad.
He controls it because he's the guy.
Well, it's the holidays, though.
It's the holidays. They got excited, Pat. You see, they got excited, and now they're you're taking
them.
away their freedom.
Fuck
now.
them all. Fuck these fucking pussy bitches, man. Oh, Boris, you did it to me, Boris. You made the variant, Boris. That's
Pat stays home for one holiday, and here he goes.
how dare you protect me, Boris?
Yeah, he stood on Parliament and said he wasn't going to do this shit. Now he's saying, "quote This is now."
That's why he's getting the shit right.
Yeah,
It's a flip flop.
Yeah, he said he would not criminalize. Yeah, it's a flip flop from this Pat less than a week ago.
The virus flip flopped. He didn't flip flop.
Exactly, Pat. You're absolutely right, but that's not how people are seeing it. They see this guy as the liar. So he said, "This is now spreading very fast. It is with very heavy heart that I say that I cannot continue with Christmas as planned." So guess what? Many Londoners and people who live in those regions did. And I think I have a video here. That's just them fleeing London on the last trains out.
That was just like right now. That's like
that's right now.
Wow.
They're fleeing London and probably
It's
spreading.
kind of like what New Yorkers did before lockdown 2.0, right? Didn't that also happen? Like people were just getting the fuck out before
They left at the first lockdown.
Yeah.
Right, the first, and I mean, I guess every city.
Not so much. New York's like come back, kind of. It's kind of back a little bit.
Yeah. So yeah, people are just, instead of the lockdowns went into place yesterday, these new orders that they can't leave, so they were hopping on trains as fast as they fucking could to go see their relatives for Christmas and not let this new variant fuck with their plans. But it's gonna fuck with all of Europe because they're spreading this new strain everywhere now. So
is that what's happening though? Like, because I noticed like everywhere is like pretty bad right now. So like, I wonder. Is it just getting more transmissible all over the place, and like Britain's the only ones calling it a new strain, or is
No. A lot of doctors have said it's not the new strain that's making things as bad as they are. It's the human behavior, undoubtedly.
Interesting.
people are getting tired of it. So
I mean, ship the fucking vaccines already. That's
Right.
let's all
Yes.
that's the answer, right?
yes, that is the answer. So the health secretary said 60% of new infections in London are because of this new virus, and they set a single day record for new infections with 35,928 cases.
Holy shit.
Yeah. They found
Fuck
Yeah.
it. Make it
Yeah.
stop, man.
Vaccine us.
Well, unfortunately, they found this new strain in Denmark, the Netherlands, and Australia already. But hey, it's very important to note that it's not a deadlier strain. It just spreads much faster.
Right.
So
And the
it's still
vaccine would still
the
block it,
vaccine,
right?
Right. They're still saying that it's not
so-
immune to the vaccine, but
Boom.
it's scary
Which-
that it is mutating. That is
Suck on
fucking
that,
scary.
new COVID. The vaccine still crushes you.
Yeah, your spicy recipe is not as good as your.
Which animal they're going to pin this on and then call? That's my question.
Well, this one's on humans, I think, probably.
Mhm.
Well, maybe it's because it went
got
to a
over there.
cat, then back to a human or a dog. You know what I mean? Could be something like
I
that.
feel like cats is the main thing they could pin it on in the UK.
You would love that.
Me?
Mark's not on the show. Let's talk
lots
about
of
that.
cats catching
talk shit about
COVID,
cats?
though. Yeah, so
Yeah.
They're just not good. They're just not as good as dogs. They're just not.
They aren't. Let's
They're
be
just absolutely not. Try to call your cat and see if it comes.
yeah, no,
Mark's
they
cats are
probably
very
won't.
cool.
Oh no, I'm not saying they aren't cool cats. They're
Yeah,
cool
yeah.
cats.
Yeah.
You can
And-
get cats to do stuff with treats, though. That you can manipulate their behavior through treats.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can manipulate my dog out of fear, and that just fear's free.
Well,
Um,
cats will too. They'll just run away. They'll just hide.
Yeah, that's the trick
Forever.
they'll do. That's the trick they'll do. If you yell at them, they
They just go
disappear
under a
forever.
bed for 8 months.
It's sweet. It's awesome.
Yeah. Also, some more news from the UK, guys, as if the new variant wasn't enough. A no-deal Brexit is still looming. The deadline is December 31st. I think they've had since fucking March to get this figured out, but of course, COVID fucked with everything. It looks like it's
Still
not
no
gonna,
deal, right?
Still
Yeah.
no deal. Looks like it's not going to happen. Many are blaming Boris Johnson, waiting until the last minute, once again, hoping for a sweeter deal to show itself. This is from the New York Times, a quote by Tim Bale, who's a professor of politics at Queen Mary. He says, the price of this psychological flaw, meaning the price of his flaw to just wait for the last fucking minute, and of its political consequences is paid in lives lost. In this case, in the case of COVID, whereas with Brexit, it could be livelihoods lost if some businesses go under because of the uncertainty caused by the delay in making a decision. So the negotiations being held in Brussels between the EU and the UK are stalled over fishing rights currently. That's what might bring this whole fucking thing down.
What is an island,
fish.
right?
It is an island, but the thing is that the main reason is because fishing the fishing industry isn't huge in the UK. Other countries like France, which is where it's really big, and they've relied on the British waters for their fishing industry. And now Britain's saying, nope, we're going to lock you out. So it's France wanting to fish.
Yeah, but
Britain,
it's God's water. I mean, you can't, it's water.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like, I don't know how far you go out before it becomes your water, but it's very contentious. Britain saying they want to take their fishing waters back. France saying, oh, what the fuck? You've let us fish there for this whole time. Now you can't take it back. So it's, Boris made a lot of promises during his 2006 campaign that he would help the fishermen in Britain. Emmanuel Macron is up for election in 2022.
You told me I could fish over here.
These waters were mine, you said. Yeah. So it's
they like it sustain on fish and chips. Man, that's like
true. Big time.
It's like their
fish
hot
country.
dog.
Yeah.
Right. But they don't. It's not like a big like export. But I guess because they eat it all.
You need a lot of it though.
They can't
Feed the
stop.
country.
They can't stop eating.
You got to get a lot of cod.
Yeah. So before it escapes the mouths of the Brits. So that's what's happening right now. We'll keep you posted if we can while we're on break. But no deal yet.
Good luck to Britain.
Yeah.
Quick NFL update before live. The Eagles have tied it up with the Cardinals, and it's looking like Trevor Lawrence may be lost by the Jets today. So,
didn't they know that?
What do you
They just can't win a game, buddy. They're about to win a game.
They're about very close. They're up
Right,
by
but
3 with 2
If
minutes
they
to
win
go.
a game, they won't get him, right?
Right,
Yeah.
because the Jaguars have like a weaker schedule.
Right. So why don't they just throw the game?
Well, I mean, I'm sure some people are trying to.
Pride, Wesley.
Oh, Pride on a 1-15 season?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
So you'd really want Trevor Lawrence in that situation. Anyways, the Eagles tied it up, so Mark is probably excited right now. All right, let's move it over to the space corner, fellas. And it's a big one because at the top of the show, remember, it's winter solstice. It's also a freakish winter solstice this year with a planetary alignment of Earth, Saturn, and Jupiter not seen since the Middle Ages. People are calling it the Great Conjunction, getting really weird about it, so watch out. Going to be crazy today. And it's a two-parter for this winter solstice space corner. First up, soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and now we got a new one. You guys know what those first ones were?
The soldiers are the Army,
Mhm.
sailors are the Navy, airmen are the Air Force, Marines are the Marines.
Mhm.
Yeah, and now the Space Force is the Guardians.
I thought they were space warfighters.
The Guardians.
What?
I think we called them. I think we had previously reported that it was like
No,
Space
I read
Trooper.
I read the Space Force book. I read like their manual.
No. This is a new announcement from Vice President Mike Pence on Friday.
Why would you kill warfighter?
No, Guardians. They're
What
the
do
Guardians.
what's the Coast Guard go by?
Coasties.
I don't know. Maybe they're sailors as well. Probably
They're the butt. They're the butt of the joke of the military. I know that.
Maybe we just
The
forgot.
Navy's
them.
got to
That's
be
how much of a
mad if
joke
they
they are.
share sailors. Yeah, that's got to be upsetting.
Mm.
Anyhow,
Okay.
yeah, the Space Force is now the Guardians. Mike Pence said that on Friday. That's the 6th and newest branch of the U.S. military. And people are like saying Guardians of the Galaxy. James Gunn was like, oh, can I sue? Can I sue? But pretty sure eminent domain applies for a 16,000.
James
troop
Gunn didn't
division.
say that. He doesn't
the
own Guardians of the Galaxy. Marvel would have said that. He just
Right.
directed the book.
He did say it on behalf of Marvel, it looks like. But like I said, pretty sure the government can do whatever the fuck they want when they're naming. a
James
new-
Gunn, shouldn't he be worried about like the
No, he
pedophilia
got let
stuff?
off on that. People like let him. He like got uncanceled somehow.
Wes, he just had fucking tweets that you would have loved. So just back off.
Also,
Sure.
also, it's good to note that this is an exact copy of Destiny, the game, that series. It's literally like, oh, I got a picture. Let me pull it up. It's literally the same exact thing. It's like they're called Guardians and they protect the Earth out in space. So it's just straight up rip.
God, the egos on these motherfuckers. It's gonna
Yeah.
be insane.
Well, to be the first Guardians, one of the
Guardians.
first 16,000 Guardians. Yeah. You're going to feel pretty good about yourself. Speaking of eminent domain of those naming rights, though.
It's like if 99% of the army never put boots on the ground is what it's going to be like. It's going to be a bunch of motherfuckers never going to space.
Well, for the first,
That are part of the space force.
first like 10, 20 years. Yeah.
How many
what
of
are
you
they gonna
Navy
do?
boys been on a ship?
Like 5.
A lot of hands going.
Speaking of eminent domain for those naming rights, I've been watching the series Yellowstone. A lot of eminent domain in there. Very
You
good
like that series? That's Taylor
I'm
Sheridan, right?
It's Kevin Costner.
Yeah, I think Taylor Sheridan created it. I think it's
Yeah.
the guy that he was in that motorcycle Sons of Anarchy show.
Yeah,
Right?
it's like Game of Thrones for cowboys. It's
You
crazy.
vibing on it?
I like it. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Also now Space Force, speaking of this interaction with the entertainment industry, Space Force has now been charged with copying the Star Trek logo and this Marvel name for its troops. Star Wars and Independence Day franchises must be pretty upset, feeling a little left out about Space Force not borrowing any of their shit yet. So we'll see if that happens. Last stop on this voyage into space, the first non-human radio wave transmission has been picked up coming from another nearby location in space since 1977. So this is the first radio wave that's not of human origin that we've picked up coming from space. We don't know how to explain. Since 1977, it was picked up sometime over the summer in Australia, and the likely origin is somewhere around the star Proxima Centauri, which is actually the closest star to the sun. And experts are skeptical that the planets around that star could support life, so they're not sure exactly what this is, but they didn't give any other reasonable explanation of what the transmission could be, so maybe aliens. It's still possible.
How sick would it be if it was like an alien race recreating the Princess Leia transmission from A New Hope? Like, but like in,
Yeah.
it's like an alien dressed up like Leia. How sick would that be if that was like their troll to us? Like, yeah, we know, we've seen Star Wars.
Well, it's a great point because the other last one was in 1977. It could be the same aliens playing the trick because that was the first year Star Wars was released. And then now the Star Wars, the entire trilogy of trilogies is done. So maybe in 2020, the same year, start and finish, this is like aliens end capping the Star Wars.
These are how conspiracy theories are born, boys. Guys, here is the second feel-good dad story of the day. A Canadian dad, Derek Prue Sr., was heartbroken when his 8-year-old son insisted on wearing a shirt to the pool. Now, his son wasn't wearing a shirt because he was swimming in Canada, and it's pragmatically smart because it's so cold up there. But instead, because he has a gigantic birthmark on his chest, which, side note, could use a little tone, his chest. But that's not the point of the story. This boy was embarrassed about the birthmark, his hideous brown birthmark. And
it's too bad.
It's bad. It's sad, right?
I was concerned about my boobs.
Man boobs. That's like probably consumed most of my thoughts.
Boob boy is no fun to be called.
Right. But yeah, I mean, you get over it.
Boob boy. Hey, boob boy. You gonna go in the pool, Shamu? Oh, what the class boob boy makes.
As soon as I accentuate them with my wet t-shirt.
Did you wear a t-shirt in the pool, Wes?
I absolutely did. I was one of those kids.
You were a t-shirt kid?
I had man boobs, but I didn't wear the t-shirt. I thought it would just made it worse. If you
it did make it worse, but it gave me some level of protection from the girls' eyes.
Well, you thought it was the girls that wanted to see?
No, I thought it was the girls. It was the girls I didn't want to see.
Oh,
that was the thing.
Yeah. Well, at least this kid's. I mean, you don't really see his at all till he takes off his shirt because it's flat on his skin.
He does but he does have boobs too. So he's not concerned.
Well, come on, but that's not. I mean, those. He's
worried about the boobs too.
Just got a little baby fat. That's all.
Yeah, a little baby fat. Wes, did you have a go-to pool shirt, like your shirt that you're like, oh, this is coming off the rack every time I'm going to the pool?
No, just the thickest one possible.
Was it white or dark colored?
It was. I believe it was dark colored. Yes,
very dark. Black shirt.
Yeah. otherwise, there's a bunch of pervs having a wet t-shirt contest.
Yeah. I wonder I saw the same guys there all the time.
Yeah, look at this kid. It's so hot. It's like we're in Mexico. Guys, all right. So to make up for his shitty genetics, Derek, the dad, secretly underwent 30 hours in the tattoo chair, getting an identical tattoo to his son's birthmark. It's pretty sweet, guys. Here's the picture. Nice. The identical, the gigantic purple and brown tat took 6 to 8 weeks to complete. And was,
you know what, though? He left a little ring around the nipple. He
Yeah.
couldn't
He did.
handle the.
He
He couldn't
pushed out.
handle the nipple. Yeah.
He did.
That tattoo, that birthmark's gonna look cool. If that kid grows up and gets ripped, it's gonna be like, it's gonna look cool.
Yeah, it'll look badass.
Yeah,
It's giving me a badge of honor.
Yeah, it's not bad. You know what's crazy about birthmarks? So check this out. They say there's like old wives' tales that say that birthmarks can be like, if they're recurring in your family, it could be like a traumatic thing from like long ago, like in your ancestry. Me, my dad, and my little nephew all have the same birthmark on the back of our necks in the same spot.
Really?
Which is crazy.
That's weird.
It's like,
How big is it? Is it like, is it not just like a coincidental?
That's like a little, like, it's like a V shape. Like
Yeah, it
thing
could
right
be
on the back of my
trauma
neck.
or genetics, whatever.
I like to think it's like the Avatar style tree of life. It just keeps marking that family.
Could be. Anyway, guys, the gigantic purple and brown tat took 6 to 8 weeks to complete, and was on one of the more painful parts of the body to get tattooed, like your rib area. They say it's very, very painful.
Oh yeah.
The ink got finished recently, and the birthmarked father-son duo will surely be showing off their dad bods during next year's 8-day swimming season in Canadian July. So that's something that they can look forward to.
Hey, Pat. Speaking of tattoos, we debated a lot about Pete Davidson's tattoos and subsequent removals on radio last Friday. What do you think about this dad? Should he get this thing removed once the kid's not awkward about his anymore?
I mean, it's definitely a big swing of a thing to do. I mean, when I was writing and researching the beer story we did at the top of the show, I definitely got teared up. When I was writing and researching this story, I was obviously started making fun of them because I thought it was kind of fucking stupid.
Because it's tattoos.
I thought it was fucking stupid. Look, I don't know what it's like to have a child yet. I will soon, and
Very soon, yeah.
it's obviously sweet, but I don't know, man. It seems like a waste of fucking money. How much did this shit cost?
Probably pretty expensive.
I wouldn't do this.
Yeah. How
No
long
way.
did it take him to get it?
6 to 8 weeks, 30 hours in the chair.
Oh, 30 hours. Yeah, that's expensive.
Great.
But that seems like pretty slow, honestly, for the area size.
It's not like they need to like do detail. It's
like
just
I've gotten tattoos that are probably like, similar size in like a few hours.
no, not similar size.
Not that big.
Look at this.
It's pretty big. Yeah.
It's gigantic. It's taking up 40% of his chest.
The kid
Yeah,
shouldn't
I've
have let the dad do that.
I've gotten something about half that size though in like 6 hours.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's completely colored in though, so that's pretty tough.
It's kind of stupid, but good for him. Whatever. Like it's one thing to like shave your head when your kid's got cancer. It's another like because your kid like I don't know. Like
You don't like this move? I thought it was sweet. It was like
I was watching that show.
a good move.
I was watching that show, Welcome to Plathville, which I like, and it's a super conservative family, and one of the episodes they had another conservative family over that was like had taken their kids out of school starting in middle school because they didn't want them to be exposed to like the shittiness of middle school, and like part of me at first was like, oh, that's really cool because like kids are unnecessarily cruel. Then I was like, wait a minute,
no, middle school is a proving ground.
Don't you need that shit? Like, don't you need to be called a bitch for with your birthmark at the pool? Without like knowing,
no, you don't need
ally.
it. You don't need it.
I think so.
You don't need it.
No, you don't need it.
I think you need it. I think you need that meanness of all the other kids when you go into that middle school. All those elementary schools funneling into that middle school, and it's just like a free for all of people being dicks to each other.
Oh,
like, you just gotta. It's just like part of life. It's like it's the next chapter, and everybody goes through it, and like you learn.
It's fucking vicious. You know how many gang members there were in our middle school? Like so many hardcore gang members, like dudes that are.
You guys, you were just shocked because you came from one of the elementary schools that was on the nicer end. If you come from one of the poorer elementary schools, you already know what's up, and then you come in, you're like, oh, these rich kids, look at them.
Yeah,
like, I didn't know they existed.
I came from Reston to Herndon Middle, and it was a shock. Let me tell you, I didn't have the greatest time. Let me tell you,
lots of t-shirts in the pool.
I didn't need any of that.
Oh yeah. No, I didn't need it either. I mean, that was like easily like the worst state of mind mentally I've ever been in my life. It's like guidance counselors pulling me out of class, asking if I was okay.
Yeah,
not good.
Not good.
But it made me who I am today.
That's
right.
right.
Yeah, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right?
Yeah, it made me very kind. All right, last story. Since we won't be doing a Florida Man Friday this week, sorry if you're just finding that out. We're going to be on vacation. Thought I would give you an update on how Florida is handling their python problem. As you know, the invasive species is just running rampant down there, eating every mammal in sight. We covered last week, I think, that they're training dogs to hunt these things now or track them. Pit bulls, I believe, maybe, right?
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, the dogs to smell them out. I think
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
Black Labs. But
Oh, Black Lab.
you
Yeah,
were
right. Black
hoping
Labs.
it was pit bulls.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's right. But they are still thinking of other ways to combat the invasive species, and that is, of course, the best way to handle it: eating the bastards. So, from CNN, the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission is collaborating with the Florida Department of Health to investigate the mercury levels in pythons to determine if they can be safely consumed by humans.
Wow. Okay. So
Yeah.
that would be a very good way to solve it, like you said.
Yeah, absolutely. If they are, every restaurant in Florida will soon be offering some good old deep fried python on their menu.
Is it tasty?
I'm sure it's I'm sure it tastes like I'm sure it's delicious. Lots of countries eat snake, and they just fry it. That's what you do from every.
That doesn't
travel
make
show.
sense to me, man. It seems like gator meat, for example, and I know there's regulations on that, but gator meat is kind of like, it's not a huge industry. It's more like a novelty. Like, are you gonna have a gator?
It is a bit of a novelty, but wouldn't you like say you could go to a restaurant and they had like gator tenders and python tenders, like or
Yeah,
like
I mean, you would put a small dent, but it's not going to do massive numbers unless it becomes like a widely.
if it's
consumed thing.
delicious though.
No, it
I'm
incentivizes.
sure it doesn't smell like ass when you fucking pull it out and prep it.
No, but it incentivizes people to go hunt it more than what the pennies that the Florida Wildlife's given you for a python. The restaurants will pay for the meat, and then it'll just raise the price of each python.
I want
that
to
you
eat
can
some
get.
python tenders now. I
Yeah.
mean, I'll tell you, I'm very intrigued. So
Yeah.
did you find any reviews of the taste?
So
Of the flavor?
I think it's one of those things that tastes like chicken. I found some online that you can buy. It said USA python meat. And it was $80 for 16 ounces of this shit. So it's like it's a delicacy. But apparently the Everglades mercury levels are just extremely high. So this is from there's a python elimination program. They've eliminated like 6,000 pythons, whatever. This guy, Mike Kirkland, he says, quote, mercury bioaccumulates in the environment, and you will find high levels of mercury at the top of the food chain where pythons are. We expect the results are going to discourage the public from consuming pythons, but if we can determine that they are safe to eat, they will be very helpful to control the population. So
It's like most sharks, right? And dolphins too.
I think the deal is that the larger pythons, the longer they live in the environment, the more mercury they have. So if you can get the small ones, like this one lady was saying that she takes the smaller ones and she makes python jerky out of it. There, I got a picture of it. So yeah, there's the python meat. She just like slices it up real thin and dehydrates it and has python jerky, which could be a big thing.
I promise you.
Well, it is Florida, Pat. So
Don't
you never
invest
know.
in Python.
It is Florida, and if they can find it, they can eat them. Then and restaurants will pay high prices for them. They'll have every idiot out there in the Everglades hunting. Okay, well we're gonna find out. There's literally 2 to 3% of rabbits and raccoons and possums left in the wild down there because pythons are just eating the shit out of everything. So
it's not a great trade. All those like little critters for pythons, not a great trade.
Yeah.
That's
true.
State of Florida. Update on the NFL.
No, I
real
just
quick.
want to
Jets
remind
did win. So.
the Jets won. Sorry, bye, Trevor Lawrence. I just want to remind you the reason that we're in this predicament in Florida is because of snake guys. I just want to point that out there. Snake guys that like had to have a snake, thought it was cool.
It's true.
That's why we're in this problem.
Yeah,
Just point it out.
And then it got too big. Like, oh man, Victor got too long for my apartment, so they just like drop it out of the window.
They escaped. Yeah.
If you're thinking about being a snake guy, just don't.
Oh, there's consequences. Just know. Consequences aside from being a snake guy.
Or if your kid is thinking about being a snake guy, sit your kid down and ask your kid, are you going to stick with this? Or are you going to ask me to release your Python Gary into the Everglades in a year? When you realize that it's not cool to be a fucking snake guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the worst situation. I bet a lot of these snakes get released from that exact situation. The kid gets it and the dad's like, oh yeah, it's cool. It's cute at first. And
or like,
it becomes a giant.
Maybe you're 18 and you're at college and you got your own apartment and you're selling weed and you think it's part of your persona to be a snake guy. Think this through. Are you going to sell weed forever? No, you're not.
Yeah.
Don't get the snake.
It's like when I released my parakeets into the wilderness of Virginia because I didn't want to take care of them anymore when I was a kid.
Do you think they thrived out there?
No, they died immediately, I'm sure.
Oh, okay.
All right. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for Hard Factor. Hey, we've only got tomorrow and Tuesday, our last days on Barstool Radio. So please, if you haven't yet, tune in there, get another little side of what we do, and check that out. But we'll be back. Let's see. We're recording. We'll have a podcast drops this one, and then Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then we'll be off for a few days. So, but we'll keep you updated. Got some merch.
But we're going to be podcasting this week and next week at the start of next week as well. So don't worry.
We'll have a few episodes leading up to that. Yeah, we'll have some episodes leading up to the transition, but dropping a few merch teasers online. Be sure to check that out. That drops the 1st. Be sure to send those reviews and give us a phone call, 512-270-1480. And most importantly, have a great fucking day.